Hey, everybody. Oh, nobody's here yet. Excuse me. Just going to leave a little bit of time for people to file in. Where is my knife? This is not good. Actually, do I need it? Let's see. We're going to have a little bit of an unboxing later. Okay, good. I don't need my knife, actually. That's good. Somebody's here. Yeah. If you're not seeing this live, if you're seeing this recorded, I just started without the hat. I figure the CBCA awards are coming up. Hey, Master and Madam. Yeah, this is my entry for best hair. I didn't put my hat on yet, just so you can take a look at my locks here. Yeah, I need a haircut, but I don't know. Right now, it's in this kind of weird phase where it's either I could either look like the saxophone player for Wham, or like every celebrity's what do you call it, mugshot. Hey, White Wolf. Hey, White Mojo Wolf. Excuse me. I'm gonna look for you guys on Fortnite. I think I haven't played in a long time, so maybe I might have to warm up again first. Hey, Trev. Hey, Zach. Okay, put my hat on now. If you missed the beginning, yeah, this is just my plea for best hair nomination in the CBCA awards. I can send my address for locks. Absolutely. You know what? I'll send you one lock a week for a year, and we can just try to put it all together, make like a nice kind of wig out of it. Uh, Let's give it another minute here. You know, I had a lot of fun doing this upstairs last week rather. The only problem I ran into, hey Brian, we had a late day. We had a busy day yesterday. My wife, the baby, and I, and his sleep schedule was all off, so he's actually still sleeping right now, and my wife is still sleeping. So I didn't want to wake anybody up. Figured I'd come back down here. I actually had some trouble sleeping myself, but I have a big cup of the Cafe Bustelo here. But one thing, just to get started, one of the topics I put in the title for this video was Independent Comic Week. Yeah, I'm honestly, Master, I'm telling you, it was my favorite movie when I was like 15 years old. And then I think when I turned 16, it's like when I said, well, did he need to sing? You know, he could have just stolen a watch if he was that good of a thief. But I was definitely one of those, like, what do you call it? Like, just, I don't even know, just something that we always kind of rented whenever we were at, I think it was at like the CVS. I forgot what the name of the drugstore is where we used to rent videos. It's long gone. RX Place. There you go. It came to me. Yes, Zach, I need it. I'm very, very tired today. But anyway, in the title, I said it's Independent Comic Week. And because, to be honest with you, through no intention of my own, I wound up having two videos this week on independent comics. One was on Isolation, Reggie Simmons and Doug Bratton's comic, Hey Main Event. More on that in a little bit. The other was on Condry. I had a really great conversation with Pat Hickey Jr. over at Legacy Comics. If you haven't checked out that video yet, I encourage you to go ahead and do so. I know it is much, much longer than my typical videos. It's a little bit over an hour. And I typically don't like to put something out that long, but when I did the interview and I watched it, I was like, you know, I can't in good conscience split this up into two parts. Um, I really enjoyed the interview. He's definitely a guy who knows what it means to hustle. And we even said it, I think, at one point in the interview. Like, I think comics are like one of the last things that you can really kind of punk rock your way into. If you haven't checked that video out, I encourage you again to do so. There is a giveaway at the end of the video, and nobody's entered it yet. So I say if you want to get some free digital comics, it's a great day to watch the video and comment with the hashtag that's in the video, because there's a good chance you may win. I'm probably going to give that like another week or so just to award those things to someone. And like I said, I mean, Condry, I could talk about it now that the interview's out. It is a really, really great read. I was surprised. I didn't seek these guys out. They messaged me, gave me a couple free copies digitally to read. And my first impression, yeah, I thought it was going to be like a Sin City type of clone, to be honest with you, but it is so much more layered than that. And hearing more about Legacy Comics and Pat's story, I can totally, totally see exactly what these guys were doing. Thanks, Trev. Go ahead and enter the contest. There's a good chance you might win. Hey, Jan, what's going on? But yeah, and truth be told, if not this week, then in my next paycheck, I'm actually going to be ordering Sarita, The Job, and a couple other Legacy titles. They have some really good looking stuff there. And look, I'm going to tell you this now. I'm not the kind of person who, if I read something I don't like it, I'm not going to tell you that I liked it just for the sake of a good interview. No, it was a really good comic. The other big news, the other interview was not the interview. The other review I had, the independent comic review, was on the Isolation Ashcan. And yeah, I totally was all prepared to make like a funny video for it. But reading the little letter I mentioned in that video, hey, Tylox, reading that little letter, I was like, yeah, there's no way I could make fun of this. There's a lot of passion and just a lot behind that. Reggie, actually, if you looked at the comments in that video, has donated a copy, another Ashcan rather, of Isolation. And I'm telling you guys first, so you have a little bit of a heads up. I am probably receiving that sometime today. So if you want the Isolation Ashcan, and there's only, I think, 100 printed, we're going to do a bit of a giveaway. Comment in this live stream, #Isolation. And then next week we'll pick a winner, and I'm giving it about a week just again to let people watch the replay and participate as well. So really, you have the chance to win like 6 comics for me this week, 5 digital, 1 Ashcan. Hey, Big Wes, the Ashcan, I'll warn you again, it's short, but it's very good. But if the social media instructions are the same, main event, first entry in. If the instructions are the same, I know that you can't really share interiors or too many details on it. And look, basically, don't spoil it. Do something. Don't don't ruin it for everybody. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the series. I was just telling Dave Bratton had just commented on the video while we were watching Brian's live stream, and I said, yeah, look, I've ordered all the covers I can. I just haven't gotten that San Diego cover yet. I'm not going to San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not going to any Comic-Cons for a while. Had this pause. So I need to snag that a different way. Maybe I can, work that out. But hopefully we're able to do that. Yeah, no, I have mine on order too. It's just that San Diego one, which, to be honest with you, that's been my favorite cover so far. Yeah, Trev, it looks great. I love those kind of intricate and almost abstract kind of looking art. If you've watched my channel a while, you may know that Mike Del Mundo is my favorite modern day comic book artist. Before I forget, actually, was it, I think, 2 weeks ago, I did the unboxing from the Swolger supply box, and there was a copy of Walking Dead. And I don't read Walking Dead, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm iffy about it. Walking Dead Deluxe, excuse me, or whatever the reprints are. Found out that's a Mike Del Mundo cover, so that's in the collection to stay. The other topic I had highlighted for this video, I thought this was interesting. If you've watched me again a while, then you know that I read a lot of the X-Men books. I'm not reading all of them anymore. And one of the reasons was that, in my opinion, the Excalibur run, the most recent one, was not handled very well. I didn't really care for Tini Howard's writing in that. And I decided not to follow the story into the next chapter of Excalibur, which was the Knights of X, or the Knights of Ten. I don't even know if they know what it is anymore. And they just announced this past week, Knights of Ten has been canceled. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, I feel like that just launched. It's a little bit difficult. I could see continuity-wise where they were going from Hickman's plan to the current plan that they're working on. I don't know if this is even Alta plan. And then I think they also announced that after the Sabretooth limited series ends, which I think the last issue just came out, if not, it's coming out next week, they're launching another series called Sabretooth and the Exiles. Exiles, if you're not familiar, that was a series in the early 2000s where you had different variant characters from all different universes, kind of going from universe to universe. I forgot why, to be honest with you. It was an okay series. It kind of trailed off at the end. They did 2 more volumes. One of them was with, I think, Chris Claremont did the writing with Psylocke and Sabretooth on the team. I didn't really care for that one. And then the most recent volume I really didn't care for. I know that's the one everybody was collecting not too long ago because that's when you saw the first appearance of Captain Carter. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be collecting that in print. I'll probably be reading the digital copies. Yeah, here's the thing, Main Event. I have a feeling they're just using the title of Exiles. I don't think that it's going to be reality popping again. I haven't read any advanced plots or reviews of the final chapter of Sabretooth, but my assumption was that he's getting off that island, and I'm assuming that somebody's going to be trying to chase him down. And that's what I think it's going to hover around. But who's to say? I guess I could be totally wrong. I could be totally right. If it's a good story, it's a good story. You know, I'm just being a little bit more selective, of course, with what I read in print versus what I read digitally. Speaking of which, it will probably be the others who were exiled. That's what I'm assuming too. And to be honest with you, that's a little bit why I'm not too excited about it. Excuse me. If anybody's unfamiliar, right now the current Sabretooth series, he was the first, but not the last, of the mutants to be exiled into the heart of Krakoa. These were people who the Quiet Council felt could not be redeemed, so they basically threw them in a pit in the island. Sabretooth has seemingly twisted this pit into Krakoa's own version of hell. And now these other characters who were there, some of which, to be honest with you, I don't see why they're there, are basically being hunted by Sabretooth, if I remember reading the couple issues, if I'm remembering the last couple issues correctly. It wouldn't surprise me, but that cast of characters, other than Nanny and Orphan, to be honest with you, don't really excite me. Don't really interest me to read it further. Hey, Cole. So why don't we do this? Before I go over what I read this week, I did get that shipment from Midtown last week. Of course, it came right after the stream. And sure enough, I have 2 comics that are coming after this stream. One of them is that Isolation Ashcan giveaway I spoke about earlier. If you missed that, go ahead and rewind or watch the replay, and you'll see how you could win a Ashcan of Isolation direct from Reggie Simmons of Reggie Collects. And yeah, this was that Midtown haul I was talking about. And I started opening this during the week, but then I saw that Midtown has really upped their game as far as packing goes, at least in my opinion. I had done a video about maybe 3 or 4 months ago where I had a Midtown shipment, and it was packed so horribly that the books were damaged. I was lucky, Midtown, I reached out to them, I sent them some pictures, and they gave me a partial refund, but, still, if it's damaged, it's damaged. So when I opened up the box, I was happy to see that they finally incorporated bubble wrap into it, which, I don't know, my shipment didn't have last time. And luckily it's recycling this week. So I don't believe there's anything big in this shipment. As I was saying, I don't believe that there was anything necessarily big in this shipment. Basically, with my pull list at my LCS, if there's something that I like that's off of the pulls, I'll message my LCS owner during the week, and he usually puts the stuff in my box. Hey, JD. This is stuff that, for whatever reason, he missed, or stuff that I didn't necessarily think he was going to get. And I mean, I run into that every now and then with variant covers. Like I was looking for the Adam Hughes Hellfire Gala 1 in 50 that's coming out next week. He doesn't order 50 copies of X-Men. He probably didn't order 50 copies of the Hellfire Gale, I'm assuming. I don't know many who have. So he's not going to have that. I've got to search for that elsewhere. But I digress. So this is what I picked up. This was She-Hulk #4. This is She-Hulk #4, the Dodderman variant. I really like these Dodderman covers, just with the multiple versions of the characters. I know that they have a Invisible Woman one coming out. I think in September. I'm going to be on the lookout for. Peach Momoko. Let me show this one to you. Peach, I know that she does a lot of work. I don't like all her stuff necessarily. I think, though, that when she does it right, she does it right. And this is one I felt she did right on. This is the Iron Man and Hellcat Annual #1. Very, very cool picture. Very dramatic, I have to say. I like that a whole lot. Wolverine Patch #3. I'm digging the Patch series. I only had the first one. I think the second one is in here too. And yeah, I love Larry Hama era Wolverine. I think in my mind he's the quintessential Wolverine solo writer. Yes, I would put him over Claremont in some respects. But yeah, I can't wait to dig more into that. Then I have, this is, oh, they put it in backwards. Just re-putting it in here. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man #39, the Hellfire Gala variant. I'm trying to get all of these variants. And this is really cool. In this year's gala, from what I understand, it's not just the X-Men who were getting dressed, it's other characters. So this is Black Widow's outfit here. Very, very cool. Another Peach Momoko, Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor. Like I said, I don't like all of Peach Momoko stuff. I thought this one was pretty cool. And again, another Hellfire Gala they put in backwards. I'm thinking they did this on purpose. Okay. And this is one that I remember when I said to my LCS owner, I was like, oh my God, I forgot to put it aside for you. And he sold out. But I got it from Hellfire, from Midtown. This is the Moon Knight Hellfire Gala variant with Scarlet Witch. Very, very cool cover. If you read last year's Hellfire Gala, you remember that you may remember that there was something big that happened with Scarlet Witch at the end. Confusing kind of explanation, but glad to see she's back. Yeah, I'm liking the Peach stuff, like I said. Yep, and that's pretty much what it is, Trev. Excuse me. It's either great or not so great. This one, I can't remember who the artist is, but I didn't even see this one at my LCS. I thought this was really cool. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty. And if you look closer, you've probably seen this online, but I'm going to show it here anyway. All of the colors in here, you have different Captain America characters, heroes, villains, organizations that make up everything. I thought that was very, very cool. Very graphic design-y type of cover here. I'm going to have a good time just... Who's that? Who's that? Okay. Yes, I'm picking up now, I guess for a lot of exclusive covers, Midtown puts them in backwards. But here we go. This is X-Force. This is another Peach Momoko variant. I wouldn't have picked this up, but it was like one of those buy 3 get 1 free type of deals. And I thought this was different. It's like looks like a postcard from the Savage Land. Yeah, I really thought it was very eye-catching. I'm surprised this hasn't been on a lot of, a lot of must-grab lists, to be honest with you. Here's Wolverine Patch #2. Again, I didn't get this one from my LCS, so I made sure I jumped on it. I'm going to probably read 2 and 3 back-to-back. Just whenever there's a limited series, I try to wait a little bit and read them back-to-back. I feel like it's just kind of like a good kind of continuity that way. Okay, here is one that my LCS didn't get, I believe. Astronaut Down #1 from Aftershock. Yeah, Tylux, I agree. And it's a lot different, and that's what I liked about it. I'm kind of been dipping my toes a little bit into a lot of the AWA Aftershock books. Um, Hit Me. I've been reading. I showed off that latest issue, that one last week. That one I think is winding down. Fight Girls from Frank Cho I read earlier. That was okay. But this one had an interesting premise. I figured let me check that out. I'm thinking about, to be honest with you, moving the majority of my Marvel picks to just digital and just picking up regularly, like straight, just kind of independent or non-Marvel and non-DC books, stuff that I really wouldn't read online, wouldn't be able to get online. But I'm still kind of playing around with that idea. If you liked that last Peach one, this is one I really, really like. Ghost Rider. Again, this is a Peach Momoko variant. Have I been reading Metal Society? No. Actually, I don't think I'm familiar with that one. You got to tell me about that one, Main Event. I really like just again, it's different. It's not a straight up kind of superhero cover on this. It's kind of like this bleak landscape. It kind of almost reminds me of something like back in the day. I used to play Magic, and it kind of reminds me of one of those kind of Magic cards there. I wish I still had them. I lent them to a friend. I left them at somebody's house and never got them back. Because some of those would have been worth some pretty good money from what I understand now. Okay, and here is The Closet, #1. I think I'm the last person in the world to read this one. So looking forward to this, and hopefully I catch up to #2. Yeah, I agree, Tylex. It kind of feels like a bit of a Nice House on the Lake kind of vibe there. Here is another one from AWA Upshot. I think I said Aftershock before. And again, this was kind of put in backwards. Maybe that's just not to ruin up the cover or anything like that. But this one I'm interested in. I don't remember what it's about now, but I remember reading the preview and saying I'll give that a run. New Think #1. This is a very, very cool cover as well. It kind of reminds me of if you read Primordial. I know that was the last Jeff Lemire Sorrentino series. It just ended maybe a month or two ago. And that's a series I enjoyed too. The only problem I have with Lemire and Sorrentino, I feel like their endings are a little rushed. Like I felt Primordial was a little rushed. I felt Gideon Falls was very rushed at the end. Even Old Man Logan to some extent. And then the last of this haul is a variant. If you saw me on Brian's show this past Friday, if you haven't, go back and check it out. I was talking a little bit about variant covers, how I don't like to buy necessarily the covers that are for a cause, because Marvel and DC, if they're doing it, they haven't publicized it, and if they haven't publicized it, I don't know why. They're not really like donating any of those proceeds to any of those charities, at least from what I've seen. I think I could be wrong. I think Cole said that he thinks DC is, but okay, publicize it. What can hurt? That being said, if there's a cover I like, I'm still going to get it. So this is the Asian Island Pacific or Pacific Islanders Black Panther variant #6 with Ms. Marvel. If you've watched my channel, I should say, then you know that I am a Ms. Marvel fan. I'm not currently reading the series. I stopped shortly after G. Willow Winslow left. I tried to read it a little bit with the new writer, and then just couldn't get into it. But yeah, it's a key that I showed off most recently at one of my slabs. Her first appearance, or her first solo title, rather. And I have some Ms. Marvel original artwork actually upstairs I've shown off on the channel before as well. Great character. My wife and I are enjoying the series, and even though it's diverging from the comic, I kind of think that you have to. And I might even just make a video about how I think that it's good that these shows and these films are diverging from the characters, because you take it into a totally different and unexpected direction. And look, let's face it, not everything that you read in the comic is necessarily great. If they make a mess up in a comic, okay, well, they can fix that in a couple months just with a quick little sleight of the pen, or just pretending it never happened. You can't necessarily do that with a billion-dollar film or a television show. So they have to be a little more calculated. Not that they don't make mistakes, of course, on the shows and in the films, but I think they have to be a little bit more calculated when it comes to that. So that's what I bought and I haven't read yet. Let me show you what I read this week. A little bit of a light week, but I tried to mix it up a bit. Undiscovered Country, this is a one-shot of Destiny Man. If you haven't been reading this series, Destiny Man is kind of the main antagonist. Um, I've been enjoying the Undiscovered Country title. I have to say that. Uh, it's definitely been a slow burn, but I keep reading it because it's very interesting and it's very different from anything else that I'm currently reading. That being said, I don't really think that we needed this one shot. Um, whenever there's a like a prequel or a one shot about a villain trying to explain why he's a villain, I think that I tend to think like, okay, well, did you need to have this as a story? Could you just said this is backstory and never, really have it as a focus of an entire book? And this kind of goes to show really how the Destiny Man came to be and his connection to the main character and his sister. Um, it was just okay. If you've been looking to get this, I would say $3.99. Okay, you can't go wrong. I would say maybe if you want to wait a little bit, you could probably get it cheaper than that. It just felt extra, you know. Hit Me number 3. I just talked about this. I've been enjoying this series. Uh, Definitely not a superhero series, more of a kind of crime noir series. Um, I actually had picked up the first issue because I thought it was about blackjack, and I figured, oh, that's kind of interesting. And if you've read it, it's definitely not. I'm not going to ruin it, but yeah, definitely a different way. And I have to say, the team here, Krista Faust and Priscilla Petriades, I don't know who she is. Great job, great artwork, great writing. I've never read anything by them or seen any artwork by them before. I have to look into it though. I enjoyed them immensely. So let me see. Main event: Metal Society. Humans are extinct and robots run the earth. Robots bring the humans back for manual labor. The humans prove to be more efficient and okay. I'm gonna wait for the second part to come up on that. It sounds kind of interesting. Um, Here's one I think I picked up because of the cover. To be honest with you, Catwoman number 43. Um, I've talked about this before. I like the Catwoman character. I just don't think that anybody's quite written her. I shouldn't say that. I don't think anybody's given us the quintessential Catwoman story yet. And this one is kind of far from it. Again, it's Tini Howard. Um, it was just kind of okay. It wasn't great, but wasn't terrible. I might check out the next one, but after I don't know, I have to kind of give myself a mental note just to kind of avoid Catwoman for a little while, I think, but we'll see. Okay, continuation here. So humans prove to be more efficient, and after losing his job to a human, a robot challenges one to an MMA style fight. Is flip on robots are taking over our jobs argument. Yeah, that does sound pretty interesting. Main event. Who publishes that? I'm not familiar with it. I got to look into that. Um, okay, and here is F this place. I'm not going to say the whole thing because I have family that watches. um, Number 1, and I'll be honest with you, I just picked this up on a whim. Um, it's kind of a mix of horror and mystery. Uh, I don't think I'm going to pick up the next issue. Just there was a lot going on. I'll say this: I think Neil told me in the comments earlier this week he doesn't. Neil, if you're still here, chime in if I'm getting it wrong. Let me know. If I'm remembering correctly, Neil doesn't care for horror comics. No, it wasn't Neil. I'm sorry. It was Bookworm. Doesn't care for horror comics because of excessive gore and everything. Uh, yeah, skip this one. Yeah, a little bit of gore, not overly, I have to say, but a little bit more than I wanted. Image and Top Cow. All right, I got to look at that in my LCS maybe. Um, Immortal X-Men number 3. I had multiple covers for this, but this one is the Mark Brooks cover. Um, I like the direction, what they're doing. I like what they're building. I really think that Immortal X-Men and X-Men Red should be the focus if they're not really of the whole X-Men stories going on right now. They're definitely building up to something big, and I'm curious to see exactly where they go. I like that they've kind of given, and these aren't any spoilers or anything. That I like that they've kind of given Exodus, if you recall, if you're unfamiliar with who he is, this guy in the back here. And Exodus has always been an interesting character to me. They introduced him, I think it was following or in the middle of the Fatal Attraction storyline. This is Joe Quesada character. And he was kind of introduced as a religious zealot to Magneto. And then I don't remember seeing him after that until a couple series of X-Man. It was spun out of Age of Apocalypse when they kind of presented him like a quote unquote, I remember, like psychic vampire type of vibe. And I felt like that was a weird direction to take him in, and it kind of didn't really remember where he had went after that. But I like that they've incorporated him into this. He's now kind of a zealot for what's Cable's daughter's name, Hope, and definitely an interesting twist to it. I also read issue number 2. The only cover I have for this one, the only issue I should say I have for this one is the Spider-Gwen variant. I guess she tried to do like a Emma Frost thing. Same thing. I mean, it's all part of the one story. At least that's how I kind of remember it because I read them back to back. X-Men number 12. This is the Hellfire Gala variant. I don't know if you're unfamiliar. At the end of last year's Hellfire Gala, a new team of X-Men were elected, and the series itself has been kind of mixed, at least for me. I kind of felt like it was a step back from the Krakoan era X-Men. If this is the last issue of that team, I have to say it was done very well, and that's at least the way it's kind of presented. So I don't know if out of the Hellfire Gala, the upcoming Hellfire Gala that we're going to see in I think it's next week, there's going to be another X-Men team. But yeah, this was handled well. It really kind of revolves around Cyclops basically admitting to Ben Urich, or Urich, whatever his name, the reporter, mostly from Daredevil, that the X-Men have conquered immortality. But whether he decides to actually run with that story or not, you're going to have to stay tuned. And then the last thing I read, and again, for a guy who doesn't like Tini Howard, I bought a couple Tini Howard books this week. Knights of X number 3. I just went on earlier saying I didn't go into this series. Yeah, that's my feeling too. But as I was saying, I didn't go into this series because I didn't like Excalibur at all. And again, if you liked it, that's fine. But in my opinion, I saw it as a wasted opportunity. It had a great cast of characters, but you only focused on Captain Britain, on Betsy Braddock. And look, if you're going to make that series, I think you should just call it Betsy Braddock or call it Captain Britain, because you've got some great characters. You had Apocalypse on that team, Gambit, Rogue. Apocalypse before Ten of Swords, I should say. Richter, who I don't know, I've never been a fan of Richter, but he was there. Jubilee, who kind of they took a weird turn with her son Shogo. But again, like Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock was the focus of that entire series. They could have just called it Betsy and Friends. That's exactly how it was. But I also didn't like that prior to the Krakoan age, there was a title, Mr. and Mrs. X. Gambit and Rogue had gotten married in the main X-Men series, and this was kind of the continuation of their adventures. And I thought that was a really great series that was cut short. And it's like when they carried it over to the Krakoan age, they barely acknowledged that the two were married. And again, they didn't really go anywhere with the characters. So this being said, first of all, the cover's great. I don't know who the artist is, but that's great. And this is Rogue's Hellfire Gala attire. I have to say, again, I'm picking this up in the middle of the series. The series is ending with issue 5. This is issue 3. I thought this issue was really well done. Everything I didn't like about Excalibur, and everything I'm saying, hey, they only focused on one character. They focused on many characters in this one. It's still kind of a weird story as far as Jubilee and her adopted son Shogo goes, But yeah, this was definitely a step up from Excalibur. And yeah, I mean, am I going to go back and get number issues 1 and 2 and go to 4 and 5? No, not absolutely not. I'll read them digitally, but yeah, honestly, I just picked up this one for the cover, and I have no shame in saying that. So let me see. Yeah, that's all the unboxings I have. That's everything I read. Just as a reminder, again, I had put out 2 videos this past week, both on independent titles. One was Isolation from Reggie Collects. If you haven't already, go ahead and put in hashtag isolation, and you will get a chance to win one of 100 Isolation ash cans. Reggie's donated that generously, so go ahead and get your entry, and we'll pick that live on the show. And also, if you didn't watch the video that I released yesterday, I know it was a long one. It was over an hour long. I really enjoyed it. It is an interview with Patrick Hickey Jr. of Legacy Comics. I'm giving away Condrey issues 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 digitally to one lucky winner. Follow that. It's like another hashtag contest like I typically do. And yeah, I mean, I have to say, I know I said it at the top of the show, but I'll say it again. Condrey really, really surprised me. And I highly encourage you, even if you don't win, to check out Legacy Comics. I'm not getting anything or any kind of compensation for saying this, but I really do think that these guys are doing something special and something great. As is Reggie and Doug and Delia with Isolation. I just don't have as many things to say about Isolation because either I can't, because there was a little stipulation with those previews, or just because it is a 7-page preview, there's not a whole lot to go on. So with that, it's about 20 to 12 here on the East Coast. We have an unexpected, really nice looking Saturday. It was supposed to rain all day today, so I'm going to go outside and enjoy some of that stuff, and I suggest that you guys do as well. But I want to thank you for checking out this live stream, whether you're with me live or you're looking at this recording. Remember to go ahead and participate in both of these contests. Support these independent publishers because, again, these guys are doing something great. But thanks again for watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and have a great week. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.